Hi everyone, welcome to NS Nail Advice, a series where you guys are sending us pictures of your nails. And I try to help you understand what's going on with your nails and give you advice on how to improve them. In today's video, we are going to be talking about peeling gel polish, peeling shellac, and I'm going to give you 10 reasons why gel polish peels or chips, because this is not a very easy to pinpoint issue. So one of our viewers has sent me these pictures. As you can see, the product has chipped a little bit and it's peeling, losing bond here and here. And let's see what she says. Thanks for your help with my C&D shellac issue. I don't use C&D lamp. I'm not a professional nail tech and I'm not C&D trained, but I do follow all the C&D instructions, application and prep recommendations, and I'm finding my shellac tends to peel from the free edge. Most noticeable on my middle and index finger. I cap the free edges, but it tends to come off or wear down no matter how thick or thin I apply. See thumb. I wonder sometimes if I've not shaken the bottle long enough and the chemical ratio has become uneven inside the bottle over time. As I tried a new shade the other week and I had no adhesion issues with that shade, it lasted over 2 weeks. Aside from the lamp, which I will look into investing my money in, they aren't cheap. Is there anything else you can think of that I might be doing wrong? Should I try a bonder on the free edge? Could it be that my natural nails are too hard? They aren't very bendy when they are in good condition. Okay, so first of all, I really don't recommend gel polishes for general public. I really don't. There is just too much. They're just too risky. I'll be honest. And it's not that I'm trying to hog the business to myself. It's just I've seen so many allergic reactions that once they happen, they are permanent, that it honestly turned me off from majority of gel polishes. So I stick to C&D. It's a well-researched product. It's a very safe product when used properly. So generally, I don't recommend it, but hey, I'm not here to judge. Everybody makes their own decisions. If you decide to use it on your nails, it's your decision. So I'm here to help. And I mean, this video is going to be applicable to nail professionals as well. So, okay, so she said the shellac, it tends to peel from the free edge, and this is a very good observation because there was a difference between peeling and chipping, and we'll get back to it later. And it's most noticeable on her middle finger and index fingers. When it comes to shaking, yes, it's very important to shake the product properly, especially C&D shellac. I use a shaker, and I sometimes with new colors I even shake it for 2 minutes in a shaker. So definitely you want to make sure that all the chemicals, the pigments are mixed properly. Lamp, we'll get to it. I'll give you, that's one of the reasons why you can have issues, but absolutely. I only recommend C&D shellac in C&D lamp. Is there anything else? Yes, there can be many different reasons. Should I try a bonder on the free edge? No, it should work the way C&D. I don't recommend mixing brands or anything like that. So shellac on its own should be working. Could it be that my natural nails are too hard? Usually not. When it comes to gel polish sticks very well to hard nails. You might have more issues when your nails are very bendy, but we'll get back to it. And they aren't very bendy when they're in good condition. All right, so let's look at the pictures again. Okay, so the first thing that concerns me, I'll be honest with you, it's the redness on this finger. And I know very often people just kind of have that tendency to pick on that skin, but I would be very careful because these products are designed to be used on healthy nails and intact skin. So that could be actually allergic reactions starting to happen. And make sure that the skin is intact and it's not broken when you are doing the polish application, because then you are exposing the skin when you're wiping the product to the the uncured gel. So definitely make sure that this is healed before any type of application. I really suggest the carousel. If the skin is broken, maybe not, but if the skin is a little calloused from a bit of a picking, then using the carousel would really help. Okay, let's get to the reasons why this might be happening. This is the article that I wrote on my website, polish.ca. And these are the reasons, and I'll get to it and I'll actually show you what I mean. All right, so the first number one, it says number two, I would say number one is improper lamp used. Believe me when I say that, I don't want to get into a boring chemistry lesson, but the lamps are actually quite different. They differ in quality, in the type of light or energy that they emit. Shellac cures in, I believe, the actually CAD doesn't really give you the nanometer range, so maybe I should not be talking about it, but there is a specific nanometer range that each gel cures. So it's very, very important to use the proper lamp because they are all different. I will actually link another video that I did about allergies and that I go into much more detail about the curing of the gels and what happens when they're not cured properly. So number one, improper lamp used. Now, even if you have proper lamp, number two would be improper curing times. So basically, make sure that you are curing the product correctly for the correct amount of time. If in doubt, double cure the product. It's better to double cure it than under cure it. Now, if you are using correct lamp, you are not running into issues of over curing or under curing. To be honest with you, any lamp will cure the product to a degree, but you want a proper cure for the product to last properly and for you to avoid any type of allergic reactions. Over curing the product happens when the lamp is too strong and it cures the product too fast. And that can cause chipping. It can create heat, actually too much heat, but also it makes the product very brittle. So the product might chip. Undercuring usually would cause peeling and soft uncured gels. So your issue to me, and I'm not trying to be a chemist, but I have a feeling that the issues with your product is more due to undercuring and not overcuring. And believe it or not, we cannot tell with our eyes if the product is cured properly or not. It's just like with our eyes, we can't see if there is bacteria on a tool or not. It's not that the disinfectant companies are trying to trick you into buying their products. We believe that there is bacteria. It's scientifically proven that they exist. It's the same thing with gel products. When the chemists are telling you that there is a high risk of undercuring the product and the product not curing correctly, we should believe them. And they're not out there to sell us the lamps because trust me, there is no money in selling lamps. The money is in the gels. So if there was a product that cured in any lamp, trust me, the manufacturers would be very, very happy because they wouldn't have to worry about the lamps. So gels will look or might look hard and shiny when they are cured as little as 50%. So when you have a product that's cured 50%, that means that the other 50% is still reactive and still uncured. So that product can cause allergic reactions, overexposure, and it will not bond properly to the nail, and it might cause chipping and peeling in the long run. Now, this is big as well. Improper hand positioning. So this is what's happening very, very often, and I see that very often in my practice, is that clients don't realize how important it is to hold their hands nice and flat in the lamp. They kind of think of these lamps as like some kind of like a heating devices, and that they're cooking the product onto their hands, and they think just placing the hand in the lamp is sufficient. And I'm not sure if you guys are old enough to remember tanning salons. I am old enough to remember tanning salons. So I remember when you went for a tan, you made sure that you like position yourself perfectly, that you didn't have any creases in the body, and your hands were properly, your legs were properly under the bulbs to get a proper tan. It's the same thing with these lamps. So I wanted to show you very quickly how to position hands. And in my practice, I actually show clients how to position their hands in the lamp. Okay, so as you can see, there are bulbs on the side here. We can actually take this apart. And I'm gonna try to show you the lamp. Okay, so the fingers have to be positioned that the nails are sitting directly under these bulbs. Okay, so this is here where the bulbs are. They're kind of above here. So very often what people do is they kind of place their hands like this. So what do you think happens? The corners and the ends don't have a lot of light exposure because the light comes from the top. There is no light here, right? There is no bulbs that are hitting the nails from this direction. The bulbs are on top. So the hand has to be properly like this. Say, look at my thumb. Holding it like this is not curing this side. So whenever you're having issues, usually the issues happen right here and on this side because people are kind of holding their hands improperly like this. Or what I see very often is people hold their hands like their nails all the way in. And again, the bulbs are here on top. They're here. And the problem is that these LED bulbs, they are much more direct. The beam is smaller. They don't spread as much as the traditional bulbs. So there was a lot of, I mean, we now have many more bulbs than in the original lamps, but still these shine very directly. So you want to make sure that you're directly under the beam of light. So these are for the thumb. You want to make sure that I find the best position is not straight all the way in, but a little bit sideways. So if the lamp is straight like this, make sure your hand is like this with your nails like almost, I would say almost pointing up, and this thumb being kind of as flat as you can. If you have doubts, cure the thumb this way. Okay? If you want to make sure that this end, or for some people it's harder to place their hand with the thumb being quite flat, so make sure that you even cure it this way. Make sure the hands are flat, that they're not bent. And people do it all the time, and then no wonder why the ends of the nails are not being cured. So proper positioning is really, really important. Another issue that could be causing the peeling is improper manicure. This is one of the reasons why I don't do just polish changes or shellac changes, because the manicure has to be done correctly before the gel polish application or before nail polish application. The reason why is that the nails, the ends especially, they have to be filed smooth, and making sure that any flakes, any unevenness from the free edge has to be made even. So it has to be smooth for a proper bond. So you have to, when you are doing your manicure, you have to make sure that the free edge is really, really nice and even and smooth. Also, you have to make sure that the surface of the nail is not shiny. So majority of the products nowadays, they really don't need the nails to be filed or a lot of texture added to the nail. They just have to have the shine removed. With CND shellac, they say you don't have to buff the nails at all. To be honest with you, I find with some people, they will still experience a little bit of peeling if the nail does not have the shine removed. So very, very gently removing shine, I find it's necessary. Make sure it's not too smooth, that the nail's not shiny, but you don't need anything coarse. And then with continuous manicures, you don't have to buff again the whole surface. I just concentrate a little bit on the cuticle area and just making sure that the whole surface is smooth. And making sure that the nails are wiped with proper prep. So usually the 99% alcohol or a prep solution that goes with your system. Now, another issue that is very common and very, very frustrating is peeling nails, because what happens is, well, the gel polishes are designed for healthy nails, not overly damaged nails, and not really peeling them, to beautify them, to make them look pretty, not to fix them. And I think this is one of the reasons why the service fails for some people, is people get gel polishes, I would say usually for the wrong reasons. People get the gel polishes because they want stronger nails or for us to fix their nails. And that's not really why gel polishes are on the market. Gel polish is supposed to look just like nail polish, and it's supposed to beautify the nails. It's supposed to be long lasting and very nice and shiny and instantly dry. That's the reason for a gel polish. Not to fix damaged nails and not to make the nails stronger, and not so clients can abuse their nails. And peeling nails is one of the reasons why gel polish will peel, because what actually happens very often is the nail itself will peel and not the product. But in this person's case, I don't think that's the case, because I see here healthy nail. I don't think that the nail peeled. I think that the product peeled off the nails. Number 6, improper dehydration. So the nail has to be manicured, and then it has to be cleaned. And very often people don't do this step properly. They kind of just wipe the nail quickly without getting into the grooves and the free edge. And very often, and I mean, I have that happening with clients, people don't realize how clean the nail has to be, because I clean the nails and then they go and they scratch their face. It happens very often. So I have to kind of pay attention to what people are doing when I'm wiping the other hand. So make sure that you dehydrate the nail properly. And I'm going to show you, this is going to be a pure acetone because I have some nail polish here, how to do this. So, okay, first let's remove this polish. So when you are, I'm going to need these nails for future few points. All right, so make sure that you grab a lint-free pad. Actually, you can even use a towel. Okay, let's use a towel, right? Because you can do actually a very good job with a towel. So now, you want to make sure that you get into the little grooves. You see what I'm doing here? And the free edge. So into the grooves and underneath. Before the manicure, I definitely recommend using a brush, making sure that the free edge underneath the nails, you don't have any creams or anything like that. So make sure you wipe it really, really well. And I always recommend when you are doing your own gel polish to do one hand at a time. Okay, so this is properly wiped. Don't forget about the free edge. Reason number 7 why gel polish can peel or chip, and that would be improper base coat application. So very often people think, and I'll show you the difference. Okay, so let's just take some random nail polish. And with nail polish, the application is much easier because you are going to, the polish goes on much easier, and you really don't have to do a lot of pressing. It just kind of goes on its own, right? Just like this. Now, if you try to do the same thing with gel polish, it's going to cause issues. With the gel polish, the base coat normally has to be applied very thin. So you want to make sure that you wipe off the brush on one side, leaving some gel on the other side. Now, if you use the same technique as you would with nail polish, you would kind of go like this, right? And you think, okay, this is good. But I'm not sure if you can see this here. Very often, so when I'm working with people that are new in the industry, they think that this is a good base coat application, and they are not looking around the nail to see. Okay, we have a patch here and we have a little patch here. So the base coat has to be really pressed into the nail. So as I'm working with clients, I make sure that I turn the nail to its side and I really make sure that I apply the base coat correctly. And on the other side, and I do this very slowly to make sure that the polish will stay there. And very, very lightly, I cap the free edge. Actually, C&D shows you to cap the free edge first, a little bit. Make sure you don't get it underneath. And then put it on the surface. And just make sure that you really, really are pressing. See how many strokes I do? This is very, very different than a regular polish. And make sure that this coat is it's thin, that it covers the nail well. Obviously, I would be closer to the cuticle. And that the polish is really pressed into, sorry, the base coat is really pressed into the nail. So now this is, and now look at the nails. And you know what I would do is I would flash cure each nail at a time to make sure that the gel does not pull away from the area that I just applied and that it stays in place. And I do that when I don't really use gel polish anymore on my nails, but when I did, it's a much longer process because I would flash cure each nail to make sure that the product stays in place. Number 8. So another reason why a gel polish would peel is because of improper curing due to the coats being too thick. A gel polish hardens when the light penetrates it all the way through, so it can bond. If the bottom layers are not cured properly, or the bottom layer, the gel cannot bond to the previous layer properly, and it will be a little soft. So it is very important to cure the gel in the thin coats, and more importantly, in even coats. So you want to make sure that the coats are very even. So I'm going to pick up the amount of product that I need, which would be actually this much. If I need more, I'll pick up more. So and this is how thin. Again, I'm not going really close to the cuticle because I'm not going to wear this. See how I'm actually applying this very, very thin, and the first coat is going to be a little transparent. Now I'm going to turn the finger to the side, and now I'm looking at this part of the brush. Making sure that the end gets a nice amount of gel. And now I don't leave it just like this because there are some areas that are a little bit uneven. Not sure if you can kind of see from here. So what I do now is I again go, oops, again I go over the surface, making sure that the product is nice and even. Okay, there we go. Now it's nice and even. I turn from side to side to see that it's nicely covered. And now I cure it. Now I wrap the free edge differently from how C&D teaches. And this is how I do it. I make sure that the first coat is cured maybe halfway, and then I use a almost dry brush, and I just, because as the gel cures, it can shrink back a little bit, exposing the free edge just tiny bit. So what I do is I make sure that this gel is in place, and then I pull away the skin, and I add like tiniest amount of product just to the free edge. But can you see how thin I'm working? Look how thin this is. And now, make sure that the bottle is closed. I cure the product. If you are doing your own nails, you don't have to cure each nail fully, because as you are putting the hand back into the lamp, the other nails are going to cure. So what I do is I give them, let's say 10 seconds or so, and then I go to the next nail. So apply the product onto the nail, 10 seconds in, free edge. Again, put the product on the nail, in the lamp for 10 seconds or 15 seconds or so, free edge, in the lamp for 10 seconds, put the product on the surface, cure it for 10 seconds, the free edge. And then once I'm done with all the nails, then the hand goes under the lamp for a full minute. This is now fully cured, and I'm going to do the second coat. Again, look how thin this is. The second coat again has to be thin. And from the pictures that this viewer has sent me, it looks like her application is a little bit thicker. So especially with colors that are very pigmented, so you want to make sure that this is very, very thin. So this coat, I don't wrap the free edge with this coat, because you have almost like enough product on the free edge for 2 coats. And again, you want to look at the line of light. So this is the line that you see here. And you want to make sure that it's even throughout the nail, so there is no wigglies. Because if you have wigglies, that means that the product is not applied evenly. Okay, let's see how thin this is. All right. Now we're going to fully cure it. So the top coat application is not going to influence on how if the nails are peeling or not, but you know what, I can't leave this nail without a top coat. Might as well show you the top coat as well, if we're at it. So with the top coat, again, make sure that it's mixed properly. And you're using small amount. Make sure that brush is not dripping. And again, you are going to use thin coats with pressure. You see how the brush is, I'm not just kind of going like this with the top coat, I'm also putting pressure, turning the nail. Another very important thing is, I'm not going to lie, is you have to be able to see what you're doing properly. So a proper lighting is really, really necessary. So now I'm going to wrap, but again, you see the tiniest amount of product that I'm using here. If this has created a wave, then you can go back and smooth it. And now the top coat, I find like I give it maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds for it to settle, because it's going to kind of flow into shape. And now I'm going to cure it. By the way, the polish that I used is called Poppy Fields, and it's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous orangey red, very nice and bright. Okay, so this is cured now, and again, see how thin the application is. This is how thin the product has to be in order to cure properly. Especially with shellac, you cannot add product so it settles. You really have to be very, very thin with the application of shellac. Okay, so number 8 was coats of color too thick or uneven. So if in some areas the product will pull into the side, it's not going to cure properly. It's important to flash cure the product if you're doing your own nails, because if you, let's say, applied the product on the 4 nails and then you go to apply it on your thumb, guess what? This one is going to be dripping to the side. And this is something that I kind of noticed a little bit. Okay, I noticed that this nail is a little bit, has this little excess of product. So that's sometimes from holding the hand to the side and then the product dripping. Again, using a very good quality lighting is important. And if you need glasses, wear glasses, because you really have to see what you are doing. And the light that I'm using, I'm going to leave a link below. It's a daylight, really, really good lamp. So if you are interested, there is a link in the description box. Okay, let's look at another reason. Let's look at number 9. So damaged nails. This is big. I have to say that very often I discourage gel polish for clients with very damaged or even damaged nails. They don't have to be really that damaged. If the nails are thin, peeling, just almost spongy feeling, I just tell them straight out, its product is not going to hold. So it's just like overprocessed hair. You know, if your hair has been, you know, bleached, for example, and you are applying a darker color, that color is not going to bond properly to the hair, and it's not going to last. And it's the same thing with the nails. If the client picks off or overfiles the nails, it's going to create issues how the product is lasting. So the product is not going to bond. Gel polish will bond really well to the first healthy layers of keratin in the nail that are more dense. The layers underneath, when the nail is damaged, are more spongy and they don't hold product very well. It's very important to do your nails on a regular basis and not to wait until something starts to peel or chip, because then that's too late. You want to make sure that the nails are done before that happens. So very often I tell my clients that coming every 2 weeks is ideal, and I don't recommend stretching the appointments for too long, because once they do, then damage happens, people peel off their product, and then it takes months and months for the healthy nail to grow out. And number 10, that happens very often. Basically, clients use their nails as tools. And like I mentioned before, very often people get gel polish for the wrong reason, is because they don't want to worry about their nails. And that's not a great approach. You want to get gel polish so the finish is beautiful and shiny, that it's long lasting up to 2 weeks, and that it dries quickly. So once you're done with the manicure, the nails are dry. You do not want to get a gel polish because, again, like I mentioned, your nails are weak, or you don't want to worry about your nails. Because once you have something bonded to the surface of your nails, you then have to be more careful, not less careful. So that mentality is sadly what's creating problems in the long run. And then one last thing, I just noticed that some people are just not good candidates for gel polish. There is no such a thing as a perfect service or perfect product. In my practice, if something is not lasting, I just try a couple times and try to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly, that the client is understanding the service. But if something is not working, then sometimes it's just not working. Funny enough, with some clients, I actually had better results long term with nail polish, or like the Dazzle Dry nail polish, than the gel polish. So you just have to kind of see what works the best for you or for the client. And guys, this is it for today's video. It's a longer one, but I hope it's helpful. And let me know which one of the points that I made is the most surprising to you. I'm really, really curious about that. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.